Welcome to the Smart Health Check prototype demonstration. The prototype was developed by the CSIRO, funded by the Australian Government Department of Health. The Smart Health prototype is implemented using a JavaScript single-page application approach, using a Angular library and the Smart Health FHIR JavaScript libraries that are available in open source. It implements the FHIR specification, including the structured data capture implementation guide, and in particular uses the questionnaire form definition specification for defining forms and the questionnaire response for capturing data and storing that as a FHIR resource. The profiles for accessing data from a primary health system is the primary care data quality FHIR profiles developed by the CSIRO over the last couple of years. The prototype also uses the Telstra Health Forms questionnaire server for pre-population and data extraction. The prototype is able to be integrated with primary health systems, and as an example, we've got one that is being able to be launched from the best practice system here within the context of a current patient and the user that's currently logged in. So by clicking on this button, it will use a industry standard authorization process to enable that secure launch from into the third-party application and be able to pull back into the primary health system in a secure manner to extract data out for the particular patient that is being used under the user that was logged into the primary health system itself. So you can see that it has been pre-populated with the patient's name and date of birth at the top. And as we move through some of the other tabs on the health check, there's more details, including their gender, their Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander status, address, Medicare details, etc., all being carried across from the patient record in the primary health system. So moving on to another tab that's got clinical information in it. The condition list has been extracted from the clinical management system, and within this form we're able to add an additional condition if required. This is tied into the Onto server, terminology server, and able to select a condition using SNOMED in this particular case. Looking further, we've got other areas that we can fill out. We've got substance use, and in here we can select that they're a smoker. And based on the fact that they're a smoker, there's some additional questions that are specified as conditional questions. And these start to allow us to put in how long since they started smoking, or if we're in an ex-smoker, how long since they've quit. So leaving the in as a smoker, and we move down to something like the examination tab. We've got the height and weight, and that's being calculated, the body mass index being carried across. But if we increase their weight within the form here, that recalculates the body mass index, and that calculation is expressed using FHIR within the questionnaire definition for the Smart Health form. Similarly, when we move into something like the cardiovascular risk calculation, this is actually quite a complex calculation being performed within the form definition. It's actually using fields from various tabs along the way, including whether they have diabetes in their current list, whether they are a smoker, etc., and any other fields that have not been captured so far are provided on this screen. So their HDL and total cholesterol has been extracted, but we can update that with other fields, or we've got an ECG record here that significantly increases the risk calculation. And if we go back to smoker and say that they've never smoked, we move back to the cardiovascular score, that is reduced to 16 again. So this score, next steps around this would actually provide some decision support, to actually provide some additional information around what the meaning of this score means and what recommendations that the clinician can provide to the patient around their cardiovascular risk, such as reducing their weight, etc. As an example of how the prototype can be used for other scenarios, we developed as part of an Australian Connectathon series, the original cardiovascular score scenario, and you can see this particular form being populated through the same FHIR API within the same prototype infrastructure. It's just completely driven by a different questionnaire definition. It's got the same calculation that's being used within the health check. But we're presenting all of the various fields that are relevant to this particular calculation. And we can see here at the moment they're 9, but with the ECG score, they're 16. So thank you for joining us for this demonstration of the Smart Health Check prototype. And if you've got any further questions, please contact the CSIRO.